What's up, folks? Zen here, March 23rd, Tuesday, around 1:40 in the afternoon. This is my porch project for the day. I am going to start germinating my sativa-like strain. I've got some seeds collected from last year. I'm too lazy to do edits, so I will put a link in the description to the plant that I grew that was unlike any of the others that I had. I basically started off a couple years ago with a cheap bag of weed that I bought at a dispensary that I discovered had seeds in it. Then I started growing those seeds, and then I harvested those seeds. And that strain was Banana Kush. Last year, amidst my grow of all the Banana Kush that I grew in ground, I grew one in my planter box where I placed my avocado, and it had definite sativa-like qualities. It was a long, stringy, tall plant, and I harvested seeds from that plant. So basically this year, I'm still growing the same Banana Kush that I collected seeds from. They're in ground. But these are some of the seeds that I collected off the sativa plant. And these are going to be grown in pots. This is going to be my porch project. I've got plenty of containers and grow bags and shit everywhere. And so that's what I'm going to do. It's sitting on a cutting board that's been split. I'm just checking out if they look healthy enough to germinate in this rainwater, which I'm going to put a little hydrogen peroxide. I saw a YouTube video on how hydrogen peroxide can help seeds germinate. It gives them like an oxygen boost or whatever. So I'm going to put a couple drops of hydrogen peroxide in this water and germinate my sativa strain. Man, this oil is starting to kick in. I recorded a video about 2 or 3 days ago how I just finished the last of my infused cannabis olive oil, and I was starting to like trip out and record stuff in my garden, and I went on a silly rant about anti-Asian hate crimes and stuff like that, which I will probably record a edit or a better explanation of what I was trying to say. I may have offended some people by it. I didn't quite say it the way I wanted to say it. But I generally... Man, it's hard to concentrate when this oil kicks in. Then I did another video since I finished the last drop of my oil. I did another video where I cooked up a new batch. And I said I generally like to medicate myself once, twice a week. I like to give it like a 4-day minimum tolerance break, because if you just down it, it just makes you fuzzy-headed and just sleepy and tired all the time. So that's why I don't take it on the daily. I like the full 6-8 hour experience where you're just sitting on the porch and the wind is blowing in your face and you're just gazing at the birds, and it's just a wonderful, calm, peaceful feeling. But I took some oil today. Why? Because I felt the need to medicate myself because I wanted to fucking murder my mom. Yeah, I was going to title this video, Why Men Kill Their Women. Not a nice video. Not something that would, well, it would probably attract some kind of attention, but people who watch gardening videos, they like the ones where the people have a nice, pleasant voice, and they're looking at the trees, and they're looking at the animals, and the guy's talking about growing stuff, and those are calm, peaceful, relaxing videos. I thought I'd do something completely different. I'd be the angry gardener. I'd be the gardener that represents all the misfits, all the people that just are enraged, they're in turmoil, they're self-loathing, they're just basically going crazy. And so the thing about weed and why I really believe in it is because the only time I'm truly peaceful and I can be calm and I can actually say I love you to my mom, because I do love her deep down, she just drives me fucking crazy. And today, man, it's been 3 years. go check out my loquat video, my first taste of loquat from my family tree. I will link you guys to that video. Listen to my voice, listen to me. That was me returning home to this home, which I never grew up in. I never lived here. Listen to how I was then and how crazy I was. Basically, I ran a successful business in LA building custom computers. I got to the point where I was building editing and VFX computers for all the big editors. I mean, all the VFX people that worked in major studios, people who worked for, fuck, man. And that's another thing. I forget names, I forget words. My brain is basically I'm trying to heal my brain right now, basically. But I built my business up over a long period of 12 years to the point where I was building machines for people who worked for really big name directors, production houses. And I can't think of a single director right now. And the thing about when you lose a word in your mind, you're so desperate to find it, it eludes you that much further. The guy who did Prometheus, okay? Michael Bay. I fucking delivered computers to Michael Bay Studios. They have a fucking Voltron, a Transformer statue at the entrance. I thought that was so freaking cool. Delivering computers and driving by fucking Optimus Prime. I built editing bays for production houses. I built the servers that run the Jumbotron at the Marriott in LA Live, where you watch the Kobe Memorial on the screen. My media servers ran those screens. So basically, I had a complete burnout. Working for these people, talk about toxic environments, people that don't understand what you're doing. They fucking fuck with you. I had people that tried to rip me off. I built an editing bay for a production house that fucking went belly under, and I'm still trying to collect my money from them. There's a class action lawsuit against them. People are trying to collect from them. That happened to me. I had the people that I did the Jumbotrons for just fucking try to fuck me over. And I guess I'm bipolar. People have been saying I've been bipolar all my life. And I guess I've just been on the upswing my entire life. And then I was just working my ass off night and day, working by myself out of my garage, building machines for people, running around, going crazy, and having people try and fuck me over, and I completely snapped. And I did some really fucked up things. I'll do some stories about some of the shit that I pulled off, being the guy that controlled their servers, being the guy who built your computers, being the guy that controlled your entire tech infrastructure, and you're trying to fuck me over? So anyways, I basically lost my mind, and I went into a deep depression where I literally couldn't get out of bed. And the only thing that could get me out of bed, and to show you just how fucking addictive that this shit is, the only thing that could get me out of bed were cigarettes. That shows you how bad and addictive cigarettes are, because I was completely depressed, laying in bed, couldn't move, was ignoring calls, wasn't taking in any business. I had a computer that I was building for one of my favorite customers, and he never saw me or heard from me for a year because I basically had the computer on my workbench or my work table, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't literally get out of my bed and actually finish the computer. Luckily, they finally hunted me down. His wife, who I'm so grateful for, she actually went into my house, found me lying in the bed, and woke me up and got me feeling so guilty. I just tried to muster enough energy to get this stuff done. So I go out and get cigarettes. I fucking get T-boned at an intersection. I don't have my seatbelt on, of course. The thing that saved me from getting my face smashed in, the bags went off. That saved me. I also had a gallon of milk that fucking when I got T-boned, the thing flew up and exploded in my face. So I was out for like a couple seconds. I wake up, my face is dripping wet. I go, oh my God, I just fucking busted my head open. I expect to wipe my face and see blood everywhere. I fucking touch my face, it's wet. And then I look at my hands and it's covered in milk. The milk gallon saved me from busting my face all over my steering wheel and everything else. But I did manage to knock my front teeth out, so that's why I have a lisp now. If you check out my other channel, you can hear my crazy ranting podcasts. You can see what the crazy manic, mania, narcissistic, bipolar person that I was, and now you can hear me lisping. And check out my loquat video and see how messed up I was. So I'm basically damaged, suffering from deep depression. I don't want to build computers anymore. I'm sick of the people I'm dealing with. And I just had a revelation. It's just not good. I spent all these years gaming, being on social media, bullying people, being a narcissist. I used to train championship quality gaming teams before people made any money in it. Unreal Tournament, America's Army. I was all about gathering teams, building them up, going out and wiping the floor with our competition. But I just came to a realization, which people are finding today, about social media and how it just completely brainwashes you or just causes all kinds of turmoil, just craziness in your head. I mean, it fueled my narcissism. I was like a closet Napoleon, you know what I mean? Here's this fucking 5'5" Chinese guy, but I just bullied people around. I made teams. I got onto the internet. I used to hook up with girls on the internet because I was too shy in real life. And there's another podcast. Check out my podcast about phone sex, IRC, the internet, all that kind of stuff. And the thing about that, people are using dating apps now, and I guess dating apps are working fine. But back in the Wild West, when I was just hooking up on AOL, going on IRC, you meet some really fucked up women on IRC. You meet some really fucked up women on AOL. And the same could be said about men. You know, I mean, you know, there's the guys that go and whack you over the head and throw you in a van and stuff like that. But man, when you meet fucking all these girls that are out clamoring, they're trying to get away from their homes, they're looking for a sugar daddy, they fucking want to use you. I had a girl who fucking had her boyfriend. I didn't even know about that. We had this online relationship where we were like totally, quote, in love with each other. And she was flying down from Canada to meet me. And this is how I found out, okay? But I'll tell you what her story was. She had her boyfriend buy her a plane ticket. She claimed that her grandfather, who lives in LA, was ailing. She got him to buy her a plane ticket to fly over and meet me. So we hook up. We're fucking like bunny rabbits in my friend's apartment, because I was homeless at the time. I was in between jobs. I had a car. And that's how much, you know, you're a pimp when you can fucking get girls to hang out with you and you're homeless. So we're staying at my friend's house, and I'm just fucking her in the bathroom, in the living room, all over the place. And then she uses AOL or IRC, AOL. And she left her account on. And I see a message, and it goes, blah, blah, her name. Where are you? I haven't heard from you in a week. Are you okay? How was the funeral? Blah, blah, blah. And then I sit down on the computer and I go, who is this? And she goes, this is so-and-so's boyfriend. I'm like, boyfriend? Dude. And I immediately said, dude, call me. We need to talk. Because I instantly realized what was going on. Man, this is turning into my like fucking internet guide to e-pimping story. Man, I think I started off with like misogyny and fucking like oh yeah, how the internet warps you and that type of thing. And why I decided to quit building computers, because I was sick of all the waste I was throwing away, styrofoam. When you build a computer and you get the parts and you get like, you know, the latest, coolest video card, You know, you have to peel off like a million pieces of plastic just to protect all the fancy little designs and details on the video card. It's like all the plastic, all the fucking shit I was throwing away. It was just bogging me down, just thinking about the environment and all the trash I was creating and all that kind of stuff. The fact, you know, and I was burned out of gaming. I was burned out of, you know, toxic environments, arguing on message boards all the time. Man, the relationships or the drama that went on online life. So anyways, that's what got me started on about women, just the women you meet on the internet. It basically ended up, I passed her off on somebody else. I found out she had a boyfriend. We talked. I said, dude, your girl is with me. I'm sorry that she played you like that. I'm telling you, I've been fucking your girl every which way, man. And I'm sorry she did this to you. And after that, I mean, after she found out I talked to him, that was it. We were fucking living at my friend's place, fucking hating each other. But the thing is, she was such a nympho. We would have angry hate sex at night where I'd just be like, she'd be clawing my back and I'd be like grabbing her hair. And I'm like, you fucking bitch. And it was some of the best sex I ever had. The fact that we hated each other. But she was still horny and I was still horny. But, you know, and she even fucking hit on my brother. She was such a fucking little whore. She hit on my brother. She hit on my friends. She had other hookups because she was on the internet, so she had other hookups in the area. And so one day I come back to my friend's apartment where we're both staying at. She's outside talking to some guy, and they're holding hands. And she sees me, and she instantly gets scared. She thinks I'm going to give her a beating or something like that. And I walked up to her, and I said, I'm going to just call her Beatrice. That name just sprung in my mind. And I said, Beatrice, do you have the room key? The key, you know, because my friend gave me keys so we can use this place. I'm like, I locked myself out of the place. Can I have your key? And she gave it to me, and I didn't say a word to the guy. I didn't say anything else to her. I went up to the apartment. I gathered up all her shit. I put it in a suitcase. I brought it back down. I said, dude, she's all yours. And that's how we ended things. I just basically handed her off to another dude. You know what I mean? I found out if she was that duplicitous, I don't want her anywhere in my life. We already hate each other. We're hate fucking. She's already trying to hook up with her next contact. So I just gave her her bag and dumped her off on this dude. And she ended up fucking over this poor guy. I kept tabs because it ended up, she likes Asian dudes. So she would go Asian clubbing. She's like a white French Canadian. So she was in the Asian club circuit. So a friend of mine who's Asian that goes to Asian clubs knew the brother of the guy that I dumped her off on. So they told me stories of like, you know, her hanging out and all that stuff. And so basically she had like, her plan was to stay with me for like 3 weeks, go back up to Montreal. So the first week I fucking passed her off on some other dude. She's got 2 more weeks to like live somewhere before she can get on her plane. So she just got passed off to other people or hooked up with other people. So anyways, that's the end of that story. I'm glad I got that out of my way. So anyways, I didn't want to build computers anymore. And I came back home. And check out my local up video where I talk about how I never even paid attention to all the trees and all that stuff here. And these trees were planted by my father, who I have the utmost respect for. I'm going to do an episode talking about his story. He's basically a World War II survivor, came from a peasant family. He got drafted into the national, the Taiwanese, you know, Chiang Kai-shek, at the age of 12. They're rolling around basically Shanghaiing people, you know, like in England when they would roust up people for like the warships, they just go to like the nearest bar and fucking whack you. I can't even think of the term right now, but they just conscript you into the fucking Navy. So fucking the Republic of China, their army came through his peasant village, drafted him at the age of 12, and he was in the army, and he had not learned how to read or write until he was 12. I'm talking about dirt poor peasant village, and he never saw his parents again because they died of starvation in the Cultural Revolution while my dad was in Taiwan. Anyway, so that's my dad. I respect my dad, and I felt connected to him. He's passed on, and I'm in this house. So yeah, I'm living with my mother, but technically we're both fucking recipients of welfare because my dad worked his entire life. He eventually became a professor of mathematics at SDSU. Can you imagine that? Not knowing how to read or write when you're 12 years old, and then being drafted in the army and never seeing your parents again, and escaping from Taiwan to come to America. He came to America on some kind of fucking visiting visa, and he was supposed to return to the army, and he said, fuck that. And that's where he met my mother. Oh my God. My mother, who comes from a well-to-do family who lost everything to the communists. So she was pampered and preened from an early... She was pampered and preened. She was a little princess. That's why she can't cook. She can't clean. She's completely disorganized. I learned how to cook because at the age of 12, I was like, what is this fucking shit we're eating? And I learned how to cook. I asked my grandmother. Her mother was... That's another story I'm going to talk about. My grandmother, my God. I'm just going to give you a quick oversight. Okay, one day I'm going to do like my family ancestry story. But my grandmother, she fucking was a card shark. She knew how to count cards. She worked as a spy for the fucking, whatever, the anti-communists. And she was rooting out communists, basically. She would gamble with people. She could outdrink any man. And funny enough, it was her who taught me how to cook. I know how to make my grandma's chicken soup. That's another video. I'll make a recipe of my grandma's chicken soup with sherry wine. This oil is kicking in. You know what? This is too crazy. I can't focus. If any of this was interesting, you want more, tell me. And maybe I'll record more. And I'll record why I fucking wanted to murder my mom this morning and what she's done to me over the last 3 years and what she's done to me through my entire life ever since I can remember. My first memory, well, not my first memory, but one of the strongest memories I have of my mom is at the age of 6, I had woken up at night and I had sleep paralysis. I couldn't move, but I was conscious. So I tell my mom about it the next morning, and she tells me that Satan was trying to possess my soul and that I needed to pray to Jehovah to keep myself safe from demon possession. 6 years old, okay? I'm going to stop right now because this oil is kicking in. I've been blabbing. I've been like letting loose about like 15 different stories that I should be able to go into, and they should be an episode on their own. And I haven't even done anything with my new strain. I got to get this stuff in the water. I got to drill holes in the cups. I got to put soil in the cups, get it all started, and grow my new strain of weed. The stuff that keeps me sane, the stuff that makes me feel sorry for my mom, and I go and say that I love her, and I cook her up a fabulous food, a fabulous feast, and it lets me basically not let her get to me, because she will drive you fucking crazy. And that's another story, how she drove my older brother to suicide, the best and the brightest of us all. How's that for an ending? Stay tuned for the next one.